Hello, everybody. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in. Come on in. Oh, I'm so excited to share this. I just spotted this. Over 3,000 sellers weren't doing it. I was like, really? Because to me, it seemed like a pretty basic thing. And I think sometimes when um, we're listing so quickly because we want to get listings up that sometimes we overlook things. And I do want to bring this up this is actually a conversation I had with a senior staffer with Seller Tools recently. So we were talking about how many sellers emphasize listing every day. And it's not that listing every day isn't a good thing. It is. Why? Because you're putting up more products to people. More products means typically more eyeballs. That's why sellers, that have thousands of listings, you'll see this enormous amount of sales. Why? Because they're offering more things to people. And typically people will come in on a listing and they may not buy the listing they land on. So they land on the Nike shirt, they search, and then they end up buying a pen or a pencil or sneakers or something like that. So yes, listing is important because listing, one, it gets your stuff listed rather than sitting on the shelf where it's not making you any money. And listing it will potentially make you money. But it was very interesting because what she said is, because I said, we were talking about, she goes, well, Kathy, do you think that listing every day gets you sales? And I said, it's part of what gets you sales. And she said, yes. Equally as important, hi, Paula, is the quality of your listing. eBay is probably one of the more complex platforms to list on. Amazon's also complex, by the way. And oftentimes, my Poshmark seller friends and my Mercari seller friends, as they come on to eBay, they get a little frustrated just because there's a lot more things to fill in. And there's a reason for that. And also eBay sellers, we know there's a lot more things to fill in than there was a couple of years ago. And that can be an error that sellers make that are returning to eBay because they are used to the eBay of 3 years ago or 5 years ago. I'm going to date myself. I remember the days of eBay where we got cash in the mail. So I've been selling for a while. They're not staying on top of how the listing flow has changed and things that are in the listing flow. Yes, at times it seems like it's there to frustrate us, but it's also to help us because that way you'll land in more search positions on eBay. Okay. And the reason why eBay's listing can seem a bit complicated, especially if you're coming from Poshmark and Mercari, is because eBay has many more things for sale, many more variety of things. I mean, you've got TV remotes for sale, and you've got electronics for sale, and you've got tchotchkes for sale, and you've got media for sale, and then you've got stamps and coins and bullion and clothes and sneakers and jewelry. So there's a lot of athletic gear, sports equipment. I mean, there's a lot, all kinds of collectibles, all kinds. I mean, I'm always amazed at the things that people collect. It's so exciting. Car manuals, old catalogs, photographs, just all kinds of things. And that's why, at times you go, oh my goodness. And it's because it's such a variety of things and you're helping eBay search to know what you're listing. But this actually, I found this in a rather huge category and a pretty common category. Hi, Angela, good to see you. And that's what I wanted to share with you. So first of all, if something's listed, because I'll see this in my eBay selling group, where we have a huge, wonderful variety of sellers on Facebook, eBay selling nothing but eBay selling. And I'll see questions, particularly from my newer sellers saying, my item's been up for a week or 2 weeks, and I'm just not getting a lot of views. And typically, the reason you're not getting a lot of views is you haven't given eBay enough information about your item. You're just putting a picture up, maybe doing 3 or 4 words in your title, and you're not going through and really filling in the item specifics. And I understand that because you basically just sort of want to get your listing up, which is good. We want you to get your listing up. But do take a look at the things that are available to you. And also my experienced sellers, it's worthwhile if something's been up for a while and you think it should have sold, like it's been up for 6 months and it's something you think should sell in a couple of months, or it's been up for a year and you're going, this thing really should have sold by now. Click revise and take a look at it. I've actually been doing this with some of my older listings. And if you don't know this, in Seller Hub, so on your desktop, Seller Hub, go to active listings. It has date listed. And typically it'll be in the default position will be the newest listed, so you're seeing what you just listed. Click it. It will show the oldest listed. And you might be surprised, like, oh my goodness, that's still listed. Click it. Revise it, take a look at it. There's a very good chance, particularly if it's been up over a year, is that there's all kinds of things, item specifics. There's all kinds of choices that you can add to your listing. And when you give the listing more information or different choices, and I'm going to go over one, what it does is it's literally you're being re-indexed by eBay search. Now, this doesn't mean you're shooting to the top, because I don't want somebody saying, Kathy said you change one thing, you go to the top of search. No. But think about this. If eBay search has indexed Paula's water bottle, and Paula goes back and she sees that there's a place to put let's say there's a logo on the water bottle. Okay. And Paula's in Texas. So let's say it's a Texas water bottle. And somehow, and this would be very rare for Paula to do this, she neglected to talk about the graphic that is with the term, Texas, whatever it is. So for instance, there's a nice graphic of the state of Texas, and she's neglected to put that somewhere in the title or somewhere in the description. Well, if I'm somebody searching for Texas water bottles, I might be looking for one that has the state of Texas showing. I'm in New York, or New York, like it's a New York one, maybe a yellow cab. So that's a term, a keyword, something that's of importance to shoppers. And I would want it to be in the title somewhere. If it's in a drop down somewhere in item specifics, which sometimes for collectibles, it does have things like, it's related to transportation. Let's say it's some kind of train memorabilia. So look at all those drop downs. And the thing with the drop downs on eBay, they can be a little hard to navigate at times, is you'll see the drop down, and maybe at the top of the drop down, it has something that has nothing to do with your item. So at the top of the drop down, it might say something like airplanes. And you'll go, my item's not has anything to do with airplanes. Click the drop down. Because oftentimes there's like 30, 40, 50 terms. It does take a little time the first time you do it. Just scroll down and look at them all. There's one called theme that's in clothing. And when you first look at it, if I remember correctly, it has time periods, 20s, 30s, which is great. And you might be looking at it going, my item's really not a time period. It's very colorful, or it's tie-dye, or it has a lot of fringe, or it has embroidery or something like that. But if you click that drop down, there's all kinds of interesting terms: classic, colorful, hippie, university, if I remember correctly, all kinds of fun. Wedding is one. There's all kinds of fun things in there that might really work. There's happy is one of them. Happy. And sometimes I look at the item and I go, okay, is this a happy item? And I go, happy to me would be bright, colorful, cheerful. So I look at it and I go, yeah, it's happy. And then if it's more muted tones, like a pale green or something, it's not that pale green isn't a happy color, but to me, happy is like bright, cheerful, primary. So look at those drop downs, because if it's in a drop down, it means some buyer or a bunch of buyers have been searching using those terms, and eBay's giving them to you. Okay. And if it's in there and it applies to you, it's worth doing. Now, what you don't want to do is to click things, because in theme, you can click multiples that have nothing to do with your item. So that I click, I'm going to pick one, hippie. And it's really not a hippie item. It's like, this is a Nike black. This is not a hippie item. This is like athleisure, casual. This is not a hippie item. So I wouldn't want to click hippie, because then this is going to show in hippie search. Okay. And this is where sometimes sellers get themselves in trouble. So they'll pick a term that they think, oh, this gets searched a lot, so I'm going to put it in, right? I'm going to put hippie in, or boho is one. Everything is boho lately, I see. And it's not when you look at it. And if you don't know what the term boho is, search it on the internet and you'll see. The reason you don't want to use a term that is not applicable to your item is, like, so let's say I call this boho, right? All of a sudden, at the beginning, eBay will show it in boho searches, because I've indicated it's a boho item. So they're like, okay. So it's going to show, you'll get the impressions. You might even get a click, because they're going, Nike shirt boho, like, let me check this out. And it's not. and then they're going to bounce out. So what that means is your item will get impressions. It might even get clicks, but it's not going to get sales, or it'll get impressions, but it won't get clicks because it's not boho. And that actually counts against you. eBay wants to surface items that the shoppers are interested in. So it's important that you select things that are applicable. At the other time is you want to select things that are applicable. You want to give them information. And this is what I wanted to show you. Drop down is free detail. It's great. It also helps you, Paul. It's great that you said that. It helps you with keywords because you look at it and you go, hippie. Yeah, my item's hippie. Well, then maybe I might put hippie in the title. And then I might put hippie in the description. And Paula does a lot of social media, which I encourage you to do because it gets you shoppers. I might include that in the description of my item when I'm sharing it on social. Why? eBay just told me it's searched a lot. If it's searched a lot on eBay, I bet it's searched on social media too. So let me show you this because this is one of my favorite searches on eBay. If you follow me on YouTube and podcasts, you know this, which is plush teddies. And why do I like to search plush teddies on eBay? Because it's a huge category. It's a great one to show people so they can understand things. Okay. And I know one of these days I'm going to end up buying a plush teddy because they're so cute. So anyway, this is what I wanted to show you. So you've got all these cute plush teddies. So first of all, if you have listed a plush teddy, and if you're sourcing plush teddies, and I'm not saying don't, because please do. There's a lot of wonderful teddies and all different brands and styles. I mean, it's really a great category. But do your homework because different brands sell at different prices, different conditions sell. But I just wanted to pick a big category. And you will notice that there are 63,000 teddies. And all I did was search. I was very broad. Teddy bear plush. That's all I searched. Okay. Teddy bear plush. 63,000 teddy bears. And I'm doing this for all of us. So you go, okay, Kathy, I've got this great teddy bear. I've listed it. And for some reason, it's not selling. Well, one, you're in a very competitive category. So how can I get this teddy sold? It's a great teddy. I checked my solds. I did my homework. I know this teddy sells, but for some reason, I'm not doing so great with my teddy. So what you do is look, and I'm on a desktop. Okay. So when you're on a phone, because you can certainly do this on a phone because lots of our shoppers are on phones, this will show as filters on your phone. Okay. In fact, let me just pull my phone out. And of course, I have the eBay app on my phone. And because I want to tell you, and I have an iPhone. So obviously, if you have an Android, it's going to look a little different. So teddy bear plush. Okay. Yes, it will show as a filter, and there's a ton of them, just like the in the left nav bar here, left navigation bar. Sorry, I don't want to use slang. So it shows as filters on the phone. And the reason you want to look at these is one, this is the way people search. Two, the more filters I end up with, just like the drop downs and item specifics, the better, as long as I belong there. You don't want to be in a filter that you don't belong in. Remember, because then you're going to get impressions and you're not going to get clicks and you're not going to get sales. And the other thing that can happen if you're in promoted listings is they think you are whatever you're telling them. So they think you're hippie. So then you're going to get promoted placements for hippie. And you're not a hippie item and you don't want that. So you want to give accurate information. Okay. So teddy bear. So we're going down here. So first of all, size. Okay. Under 6 inches, and it tells you. So if you don't know and it's giving you the size in inches, all you do is pull out a tape measure. Measure your teddy because you want to be accurate in the size because it matters. People are buying different size teddies because some that's just going to go on the shelf. Other ones, they want a bigger teddy. So the size matters. There are people that collect really tiny teddies or bigger teddies. So measure your teddy because look at this. And this is why I wanted to point this out to you. Okay. So there's 665 minis under 6 inches, small, 22,323. That's 6 to 14 inches. 14 to 24 teddies is 11,241. Large, interesting. And obviously because they're harder to ship to, 757. There's jumbos. So yay, if you get a giant teddy, 114. Get this, not specified, 6,254. That means 6,254 sellers did not pull out a tape measure and measure their teddy. That's potential searches you are not gonna get seen in because you didn't measure your teddy and you didn't pick it and you didn't fill it in. So, when you're going through your item specifics, and this one's good because it gives you the exact size, pull out a tape measure and measure it, okay? The other tip I wanted to show you that can help your items to get seen is color. Now, color can be a tough one, okay? Especially when they're multicolored. And in fact, when I met with the listing team, one thing I did mention to them, so for those of us who sell on Poshmark, and I do sell on Posh besides eBay, one thing I really like with Posh is that when you're listing color, it gives you 2 colors. Now, if something is a solid color, um, it's a solid black shirt, then obviously you're just picking black. But what's nice is when things are multicolored, when it's black and white, they give you 2 colors. So if it's red, white, and blue, you got to pick 2. But what's nice is it's 2. And you think about a lot of times, there might be multiple colors there, but there's 2 predominant colors. So at least you can tell them purple and pink. So I did say to the eBay team, I did say it would be really nice if we could have 2 colors. It's very hard sometimes to pick one, but you do. So when you look at it, like for instance, like this black shirt, what it does is it has the white Nike swoop. But this is a black shirt. It has a white Nike swoop, but this is a black shirt. It is not a multicolored shirt in my mind. So if I'm listing this shirt, I would list it as black. If it had white splotches, let's say it had giant white polka dots all over it, then in my mind, it becomes multicolored, a plaid multicolored. The reason I pull this up, so if there's really a predominant color, like some of them I look at, it's really predominantly red. There's a little bit of something else there, or yellow or green. And this is where you just have to be sensible. You look at it. I use my husband. Sometimes I'll hold it up to him and I go, okay, would you call this blue or would you call this multicolored? And I'll ask him to weigh in. So look at that. If there's really one predominant color, even if there's a little bit of something else, I do call it the predominant color. Otherwise, I do select multicolored. But then in the title, I'll put red, white, and blue, pink and purple, pastel colors, something like, and definitely in the description because people want to know. Okay. It's that the colors in the plaid are yellow, gold, and pink, whatever it is. And I tell them to take a look at the pictures. But again, in my teddy bear, and the big color is brown, 14,618. Okay. We have 5,544 white. Get this, 6,480 not specified. Not good, teddy bear listers. Again, just like the size, all I had to do was pull out a tape measure, look at it. Now again, like this, okay, I'm looking at the guy, he's brown and he's got the little red outfit, but that's a brown teddy. The outfit's multicolored, but the teddy is brown. The one on top is clearly a red teddy, okay? Is pick a color. And if you're uncertain, ask your friend, take a picture, send it to your friend. This is the great thing about having all these mobile devices. Ask your roommate, ask your partner, ask your spouse. But if you're really uncertain, then you go with multicolored and list the colors, like with the one with the cute little outfit, brown teddy with red overalls, that kind of thing in the description. But if there is a size indication, particularly when eBay has given you the inches, so there's no guessing on it. And then with the color is predominant color, and if not, then it's multicolored because I'm showing in filters. If I don't click the drop downs, I'm not going to show in those filters. Now, eBay search has gotten more advanced. I've noticed that. Every now and then when you have it in the title specifically, sometimes you will end up in the filters, even if you haven't used the drop down. But I wouldn't rely on that. Do you know what I mean? I want to give eBay as much information as I can. So even when you're listing super fast, look for those. Okay. Color matters. The size matters. Oftentimes, again, I'll be going through and looking at listings. I was looking at something the other day. I think it was a bracelet. They hadn't measured it. You need to measure it. I need to know. I have small wrists, so I need to know what the dimensions are. Same thing with the earrings. It's a dangle earring. But how long is it, right? Is it like an inch or 2 inch? It's a difference as far as where it's going to hit on somebody's face. So again, the measurements matter. It takes 2 seconds. You pull out a tape measure and you measure it, okay? It helps you to show in more filters. It helps you to reach more shoppers. And that is what you are after. If your item is sitting there and you are not getting a sale on it, there's a chance that you're missing key information. Now, you go, well, why isn't the person messaging me? If they're interested in how long the earring is or how big the bracelet is or how tall the teddy is, why don't they just message me? Because people don't. Because especially with something like the teddy, there's so many of them. There's probably one that's similar. And guess what? That seller did measure it. Okay. They're going to get the sale because the shopper's just going to go ahead and look for somebody that does have the information that they don't have to message them because they don't want to bother with having to message you, wait for a response. Most of us are super fast, but that person may be used to other platforms where it takes a little longer to get an answer. So just as much information as possible that's pertinent. And if eBay's telling you size with inches, if eBay's offering you drop downs on color, doing not specified is not a good idea. Pick red, pick brown, pick black, or pick multicolored. If you're just not sure, like, oh, I'm just not sure which one's dominant, and then you put it in the description. I've got more great tips to help you with getting your stuff sold. Again, this can help you when you are first doing your listing. Like Kathy, I haven't been on eBay for a while. I'm coming back. I'm getting myself geared up. Grab my free tip sheet, dominate eBay search and win more sales. For my sellers, again, I'm always learning, right? I am always learning. I am always in workshops. I'm very honored to regularly be in meetings with teams. I'm always asking questions. I'm always all ears. Like my wonderful staffer who told me about the super importance to optimize listings, which got me looking at the teddy bears. So grab my tip sheet, dominate eBay search and win more sales and get more tips because it's not enough. Yes, listing's important, but it's the quality of your listing. It's making sure you've got the good keywords in your titles. It's making sure you're using the item specifics that are pertinent, that apply to your item. When you use ones that don't, I see it on Macari a lot for some reason, it's not good because you're getting eyeballs on your item for people that are not searching for that, and you're just going to frustrate them. And we don't want frustrated buyers. We want happy buyers. So pick keywords that are right for you. eBay's asking you size, give eBay the size. You look at it, you figure out a color. If it's got more than one and you really don't see one that's dominant, it is multicolored, okay? So really make sure you fill it out because people search. They search brown little plush teddy bear, brown giant teddy bear, white teddy bear, pink teddy bear, right? And you want to make sure that your item shows in their search. So grab my free tip sheet. It'll help you get more sales. And I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.